The finish line of the fourth stage. Kansas City was already close at hand. Johnny and Gyro bypassed the finish line and headed north through the heavy rain. As they moved forward, the two discovered Dio's horse tracks. The tracks had not yet been washed away by the rain, showing that the distance between them was already very close. Dio was at most less than 5 minutes ahead of them. At this moment, the rain continued to fall heavier and heavier. The horses found it increasingly difficult to run in the violent storm. From their current position to the location indicated by the coordinates, there were still 6 hours of travel remaining. If they continued moving forward, both the riders and the horses would be unable to endure it. Johnny suggested setting up camp here to rest. He assumed that Dio would also be blocked by the heavy rain and temporarily stop moving, but Gyro said Dio would never stop. Now is the best moment to deal with him. We must defeat him in this storm, so that in the races to come, he would no longer be able to oppose me. Gyro Zeppeli. At the same time, Dio, who was running ahead, also sensed something unusual. The parts of the saint's corpse were drawn to one another. Dio could already sense the spine ahead of him, and that spine was moving. This situation had completely exceeded Dio's expectations. Had someone already dug it out? At this very moment, Lucy had already obtained the saint's spine. Before leaving, Mountain Tim had told her that she could seek out Johnny Joestar and Gyro Zeppeli. These two could protect both her and her husband, Stephen Steele. In order to meet them as soon as possible, Lucy ran toward the direction of the finish line. Suddenly, a large mouth appeared out of nowhere and bit onto her arm. It was Blackmore. He had already caught up to her. Seeing the cloth bundle on Lucy's chest, Blackmore immediately understood the situation. Just as he had expected, the contents written in Ringo Rodigan's confidential letter were the location of the saint's corpse. The corpse was already right in front of him. "You filthy woman. Look at what you've done." Blackmore rushed forward and grabbed the cloth bundle. Looking at Lucy's terrified expression, Blackmore asked her, "Can you see my mask?" He asked twice. Lucy showed no reaction. Only then did Blackmore feel at ease and take the corpse away. Only stand users can see stands. From this, it could be inferred that even though Lucy had obtained the saint's corpse, she had not gained the qualification to become a stand user. As for how this couple should be dealt with, that decision would be left to the president. Blackmore flew up onto a utility pole, pulled down a telephone wire, and called the president. While waiting for the call to connect, Blackmore gently stroked the saint's corpse in his hand. This human spine that spanned 1,900 years seemed to possess an astonishing power. This strange radiance made him unable to look away. Blackmore could not help but think, what would happen if I did not give the corpse to the president? They say everyone is equal, so why can't I possess it? Just as he thought this, Blackmore's elbow suddenly struck a signboard. He had somehow returned to the city. Just a moment ago, he had clearly been out in the wilderness beyond the city. What kind of power does the saint's spine truly possess? The president's subordinate, Blackmore, successfully captured Lucy. The saint's spine was also seized by him. After calling the president, Blackmore carefully examined the relic in his hands. If all men are equal, then why can't I, Blackmore, possess the saint's remains? As he thought this, Blackmore suddenly sensed that something around him was wrong. He looked around. He had somehow returned to a town. The vast wilderness had transformed into a small town in the blink of an eye. A road sign clearly read 26 kilometers to Kansas City. What the hell is going on? Looking more closely, all the telephone lines had been severed. The utility pole beside him was now embedded into a horse-drawn carriage. As Blackmore stood there in confusion, the saint from 1,900 years ago suddenly revealed himself at Blackmore's side. At the same time, the saint touched the spine with his left hand, the one with a hole in it. Blackmore was struck with terror. He hurriedly clutched the spine to his chest. Moments later, he finally realized who that person was. For 1,900 years, no one had ever seen the saint's figure. And yet, at this very moment, the saint had revealed himself beside Blackmore. Before Blackmore could rejoice, Lucy, standing below, fired a shot at him. The bullet pierced straight through his neck. Blackmore screamed and fell from the air. "You filthy woman, how dare you shoot me?" Before he could finish speaking, Lucy fired 2 more shots. Then she grabbed the relic and fled the scene at once. Bracing himself against a utility pole, the surroundings around Blackmore changed once again. This time, he arrived in a forest. The text on the road sign had changed to 34 kilometers to Kansas City. In just a few seconds, Blackmore had been moved 34 kilometers west from the wasteland north of the town. Moved along with him were the utility pole beside him, as well as Lucy, who was also present. At this moment, he was already on the race course. The spine was carrying the two of them toward Johnny Joestar's direction. Was the Saint's spine trying to reunite with the other parts of the corpse? Thinking this, Blackmore immediately used suspended water to seal his wounds. The bleeding was finally stopped. Once the rain stops, his ability will fail. That moment will be his death. Blackmore believed that all of this was punishment for his desire to claim the relic for himself. Before the rain stops, he must reclaim the spine for the president. He must complete his final mission.